I heard, by the way, like another way to tell what's natural versus lab is by the way they're cut. Like there are some old cut diamonds.
They're doing old cut diamonds for lab growns too.
Oh, they're doing that too
Yeah,
now.
so if you're recreating like an antique ring, then you can get like an old miner of a lab grown.
So that will not help anymore either.
No, no way. Yeah.
Wow. So you really like you have to go to the lab essentially.
It has to, yeah. So again, I'm a graduate gemologist. You give me a bunch of tools, and I'll look at the diamonds, and if they're deflawless diamonds, natural or lab grown, you put 3 diamonds in front of me, I'm going to get it right 30% of the time.
That's crazy.
What That's it. Yeah, it's like flipping a coin.
What wasn't there a limit for lab grown, like how clear they can be, or
No, not anymore. You can get deflawless.
you can flawless completely like the best of the best.
Right, but also don't forget that clarity grades are graded at 10 power magnification. So if you magnify to 100 times, you're eventually going to find a clarity characteristic, even on a deflawless natural or deflawless lab grown.
Okay. But as far as lab grown, there are no more limits as to what they can do with it.
As to quality, no, yeah, no,
Wow.
it's great.
And size as well. Was there a limit on size?
I think there's still kind of a limit on size, but I've seen 15, 20 carat lab grown diamonds.
Flawless G?
A very high quality.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It is wild.
What's going to happen to the industry? It's stabilized. I heard most of it's coming out of China, right? And they the Chinese oversaturated the market and they stopped producing.
The Indians too.
Indians too, lab grown?
Yeah. So, but there's tariffs on them too.
But
Right?
you're saying it's stabilizing now. It's not as crazy because it used to go down. I remember consistently.
Well, there was also a time where lab-grown diamonds versus natural diamonds were really close to the same price. It might have been like a 15 or 20%
That was in the
discount
beginning, probably.
in the very beginning.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then as more manufacturers came alive, as supply has increased and so on and so forth, then lab-grown diamonds have gone down in price. So what the problem that I'm seeing recently online is that you'll get an advertisement, 3 carat diamond for $300. Like, okay, that's very interesting. And then you start looking into the details, and it's either really low quality or it's HPHT, which won't test as a diamond with a diamond tester. There's so many other factors. And this is why you really want a jeweler, or you really want a trusted a website that you're working with, or whoever it is that you're working with. You want to have some ability of communication, because you really want to know what it is that you're buying. At the end of the day, even at $300 is still a lot of money. I don't care what anybody says. $300 a lot of money, $1,500 a lot of money, $2,000, $5,000. Now people are making phone calls. They're talking. They're having. They want to see the diamond in person and stuff like that. So it's really it's really interesting how the industry is going right now.
What do you think percentage of sales now between lab and natural?
Okay, so we have 3 offices under Forever Faithful Diamonds. One is Gem Beju in Daytona Beach, Florida, and then we have Raymond the Diamond Guy in Tennessee, and then we have my office here in Newport Beach. In Daytona, it's 80-20 lab. 80%, 20% natural, because we have a lot of older clients that don't believe in lab grown diamonds. They have an emotional attachment to natural.
Mm-hmm.
The Tennessee office is 100% lab grown.
That's crazy.
They've never sold a natural diamond in that office in the last 4 years. So, and then in my office, it's over 90, here in Newport Beach, it's over 90% lab grown. So, and then that 10% is really high net worth clients. People that are purchasing 6-figure and above pieces of jewelry.
But it's not a store of wealth per se.
It can be. So you need, so diamonds are precious, they're semi-precious gem. Now, you hear this all the time on TikTok, diamonds are semi-precious, they're not really rare, and so on and so forth. Until you get into size and quality, The larger diamond and the higher quality, now you go from semi-precious to super precious. So over 3 carats, colorless, VS and above, really high quality. Now you're getting into something precious. Like basketball cards. There's a billion basketball cards out there.
Once you
But
get into the
there's
rarity.
one Michael Jordan 10 or whatever rookie card that sold for, I don't know, $10 million or something, right? That's the same with diamonds, is that you have, there's billion diamonds out there at smaller size, lower grade, lower quality, but there's very few. Like, for example, I had a client, he came in, he wanted a 5 carat elongated cushion, colorless, VS1 or better.
Natural?
Guess how many there were on the planet for him to see?
I don't know, 10?
6.
Oh, wow. I was close.
On the planet. So there's worldwide availability.
That's insane.
And I brought 3 of him for him, 3 of them for him to see. One of them was really nice. The other 2, the cuts were kind of older, a little bit too high crown, weren't that great to look at.
And how much does something like that sell for?
That was in the 6 figures.
And will it retain value, you think? Like, as lab gets better and you can recreate that
right,
stuff.
but that client is looking for something rare that you cannot get, right? So there aren't any more, so he cut the population of those diamonds by 20%.
What you're saying is, like, he just wouldn't consider lab, period, right?
Exactly. So that there's a certain level of client that just doesn't consider it.
So because of those clients, the market for natural will always
right.
hold.
So it's more like a painting. Okay, is actually a better example, right? So you have the first painting, right, and then you have the prints, right, and then so the artist went, he painted, he made this amazing thing, then it was printed, and then there might be a bunch of touch-up ones, right, which are the higher quality ones, but there's still prints. It's not the original. Right. And then original of that painting is rare and priceless or whatever versus the prints.
And then also, as far as I'm understanding, the people that actually are interested in natural, they're more interested in stuff that's more than 3 carats because they're more exclusive.
I would say there's 2 clients. One client is somebody, so I can destroy every argument for buying a natural diamond except for one. That one is going to be, I don't feel like it's a real diamond. So there's an emotion there. I can't break that emotion. First of all, like, I don't want to. I want that person to be happy with what they have, right? So I want a natural diamond because it's natural. Okay, that totally fine. No problem. And there is that client out there. Then there's the second client that needs to feel the purchase. So a guy, he's making serious money. What's $5,000? He bought her a purse for $5,000. They go on vacation for $20,000. These are really high net worth people, and I've heard them say this, like, I need to feel it. Like, if I get her something for $10,000, I need, even if I get her the biggest lab grown diamond, I'm not gonna feel. I want to pay. I want to spend $100,000 on this. I want to feel like I did something. Also, I want to feel like I gave her something that nobody else could give her. That's that type of emotion out there. Now, then when it comes to investing, right, then that client who's wants to believe in value growth, right? Because I don't sell investments. I sell you a token of your love and appreciation for this person. When it comes to investments and holding diamonds, now you need to get into the hyper rare. You got to be in the 6 figures. If you're not in the 6 figures, it's going to be hard to recoup that investment.
That's interesting. It's almost counterintuitive, but it isn't. Ultimately, if you just based on rarity alone.
Exactly.
Yeah,